Welcome to my channel, where I discuss AI, technology, and the stock market daily. Today, I want to delve into the insights of economist Richard D. Wolff, who has highlighted several critical economic realities in America that often escape mainstream media attention. These issues, ranging from income inequality to the challenges posed by other countries, that reveal deep systemic problems that require urgent attention. Over the past few decades, the United States has witnessed a significant decoupling between worker productivity and wages. While productivity has soared, real wages for the average worker have remained largely stagnant since the 1970s. This disparity has led to a concentration of wealth among the top earners, exacerbating income inequality. According to the Economic Policy Institute, from 1979 to 2020, net productivity grew by 61.8%, while the hourly pay of typical workers increased by only 17.5% over the same period. Compounding this, the federal minimum wage has been stuck at $7.25 per hour since 2009. Meanwhile, many states have set higher minimum wages, with California and Washington leading at $16 and $15.74 per hour respectively as of 2024. However, even these higher state minimums fall short of the estimated living wage in many areas. Richard Wolff points out that this stagnant wage floor is part of a broader trend that prioritizes corporate profit over worker well-being. Wolff also highlights that income and wealth inequality in the U.S. have reached levels not seen since the early 20th century. The top 1% of earners now hold a significant portion of the nation's wealth, while the bottom 50% struggle to make ends meet. Data from the Federal Reserve indicates that, as of 2021, the top 1% owned approximately 32.3% of the nation's wealth, whereas the bottom 50% held just 2.6%. This growing divide undermines social cohesion and economic stability. Wolff critiques policies that disproportionately benefit the wealthy, such as tax loopholes and low capital gains tax rates, which allow billionaires to pay lower effective tax rates than middle-class workers. Turning to the global context, Wolff emphasizes that China's economy is rapidly closing the gap with the United States. As of 2023, China's nominal GDP stands at approximately $18 trillion, while the U.S. leads with $26 trillion. However, when measured by purchasing power parity, China has already surpassed the U.S., with a GDP of over $30 trillion. Contrast this with Russia, whose nominal GDP is just under $2 trillion, ranking below countries like Italy and Canada. Despite its geopolitical relevance, Russia's economy is small compared to the global giants. Wolff argues that the U.S.'s heavy focus on Russia, particularly in the context of the Ukraine conflict, is a strategic distraction. The far more significant challenge, according to Wolff, lies in China's rise as an economic and technological superpower. China's economic strategies, including its massive Belt and Road Initiative, are reshaping global trade and investment patterns, positioning Beijing as a central player in the 21st century economy. The United States faces severe challenges, particularly when it comes to the national debt. As of 2024, the U.S. debt stands at over $33 trillion. Wolff explains that much of this debt is funded by taxpayer dollars, not to pay down the principal, but to cover interest payments. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that interest on the national debt will total $663 billion in 2023, exceeding the budgets for key areas like education and infrastructure. This means American taxpayers are effectively funneling money to bondholders, including foreign entities like China and Japan, which hold significant portions of U.S. debt. Wolff warns that this reliance on debt-driven financing is unsustainable and risks crowding out federal spending on essential programs, further deepening economic vulnerabilities. Wolff also critiques the decline of labor unions, which has weakened workers' ability to negotiate for better wages and working conditions. Union membership has fallen from about 20% in 1983 to 10.3% in 2021, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This decline has contributed to wage stagnation and reduced benefits for many workers, further entrenching economic disparities. However, Wolff notes the recent resurgence in labor activism, citing strikes by the United Auto Workers, UAW, and other unions as signs of a potential revival. He believes rebuilding union power is critical to addressing the inequality plaguing the American workforce. Another alarming trend Wolff highlights is the rise of precarious employment due to the gig economy. Companies like Uber and Lyft have capitalized on this model, classifying workers as independent contractors to avoid providing benefits. A 2020 report by the National Bureau of Economic Research found that approximately 15.8% of workers engaged in alternative work arrangements, highlighting the growing prevalence of insecure employment. Wolff sees this as part of a broader trend toward worker insecurity, which now extends even to traditionally stable white-collar jobs. On the global stage, Wolff underscores the growing influence of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Together, these nations represent over 40% of the world's population and about 25% of global GDP. The BRICS countries have been working to challenge Western economic dominance, including efforts to develop a new reserve currency to rival the US dollar. At the 2023 BRICS summit, expansion plans were announced to include nations like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Iran, further solidifying the bloc's influence. Wolff sees this as a significant shift toward a multipolar economic order that could weaken the US dollar's status as the global reserve currency. He warns that this movement, while still in its early stages, could have profound implications for US economic and geopolitical power. Despite economic downturns and crises, Wolff points out that many corporations have reported record profits, often benefiting from government bailouts and favorable policies. During the COVID-19 pandemic, while millions faced unemployment, companies like Amazon and Walmart saw significant profit increases. Amazon's net income, for instance, surged from $11.6 billion in 2019 to $21.3 billion in 2020, reflecting the uneven economic impact of the pandemic. Wolff critiques this corporate behavior, emphasizing that profits are frequently funneled into stock buybacks rather than investments in workers or innovation. Household debt levels have also reached unprecedented heights, with many Americans relying on credit to cover basic expenses. The Federal Reserve reports that total household debt reached $15.58 trillion in the fourth quarter of 2021, driven by increases in mortgage, auto loan, and credit card balances. Student debt, now totaling over $1.7 trillion, is another area Wolff focuses on, noting its long-term effects on younger generations. The resumption of federal student loan payments in late 2023 is expected to exacerbate financial insecurity, reinforcing a cycle of debt dependence. Environmental degradation and climate change are other pressing challenges tied to economic policy. Economic activities, particularly those driven by corporate interests, have led to significant environmental harm. The U.S. is one of the largest carbon emitters globally, with the Environmental Protection Agency reporting that in 2019, the U.S. emitted 6,558 million metric tons of CO2 equivalent. Wolff argues that while market-based solutions like carbon credits have been proposed, they often fail to address the systemic nature of environmental harm, prioritizing profit over sustainability. Finally, Wolff critiques the strategic focus of U.S. foreign policy. He argues that the U.S. attention on the Ukraine-Russia conflict diverts resources from addressing China's rise as an economic powerhouse. China's technological advancements, such as its leadership in 5G, AI, and renewable energy, represent direct challenges to U.S. dominance. Meanwhile, initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative continue to secure China's influence across Asia, Africa, and Europe. Wolff sees this as a crucial pivot point, warning that the U.S. risks losing its global economic leadership if it fails to engage with these challenges. These systemic issues, as outlined by Richard Wolff, reveal deep structural problems within the American economy and underscore the importance of addressing them to ensure a more equitable, resilient, and sustainable future. If you found this analysis insightful, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and see you next time.